Welcome to the 2018 Millennium Fellowship graduation for all fellows, alumni, partners, and friends. I'm Camille Bangug. I'm one of the campus directors at Georgetown University.
Hi, I'm Faye.
And we are honored to be your hosts for today's celebration for the first Global Millennium Fellowship program. We are so glad to be able to welcome you, and we are all here today because we are committed to making a change in our communities, to advancing the Sustainable Development Goals, and to creating a future that we want to live in.
And just a couple reminders before we get started. If you guys just make sure that your audios are on mute the entire time, so we make sure that there's no background noise. And throughout the course of the event, we invite everyone to engage on the chat box. So we'll be sending a couple messages throughout the video, and just make sure to respond. Please also send your names, the countries that you're in, the college, and any projects that you're working on, or any type of thing that you'd like to share.
We'd also like to send an enormous thank you to all of you connected around the world. I know we're all in a million different time zones. I'm sure some of you are studying or staying up super late, ignoring your studies, which is totally okay. We are so glad that you are here today to celebrate with all of us, and excited to finally be engaged as a global community. So to kick us off, we are going to hear from none other than Sam Vagar. He is MCN's fearless leader, and as founder and executive director, he founded MCN in his dorm room just as a young undergraduate, like so many of us, with the vision that youth can do so much more for our world. In 2012, Sam was selected on the list of top 99 most influential policy leaders under the age of 33, and he currently serves as advisor to the executive director of UN Women. Sam, I know to many of you, is an inspiration. He's a great friend, a great person, and we are so excited that he is here for this meeting. So now we will turn it over to Sam Vagar.
This is so exciting. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I know you are all, I see you, Lego State. I know you are all tuning in from so many different time zones in 13 countries. I want to give a special shout out to all the Millennium Fellows at Western Sydney University in Sydney, Australia, who are tuning in to watch at 2 a.m. So to stay up from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning to be with us live is incredible, and thank you very, very much. My name is Sam Vagar. I'm the executive director and co-founder of Millennium Campus Network, MCN. And in these brief 5 minutes that I have with you, one, I want to say thank you. Two, I want to share with you how we got here. And three, I want to really call on your leadership for the next, not just couple months or years, but next decade till we reach the 2030 agenda, which is really all of our collective work. So for me, as Camille mentioned, and thank you, Camille and Faye, for hosting, this all started when I was 19 years old. I read two books that changed my life, Mountains Beyond Mountains, about Dr. Paul Farmer and the organization Partners in Health, and a book, The End of Poverty, by the economist Jeffrey Sachs. In those two books, learned about the complexities of extreme poverty, the role that we can play as a generation in tackling extreme poverty, advancing the United Nations Millennium Development Goals, now the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Called Professor Sachs, began on this journey, met with his staff 2 days later in New York and said, what can we do? I came back to campus, started small-scale public health fundraisers in our dorm rooms and on campus. Then in the fall of '07, convened student leaders from across the city of Boston. And we said, look, we're all focused on injustice, but we're doing this work in silos. Those silos minimize impact, minimize diffusion of knowledge. What would happen if we teamed up? And 6 months later, we had our first Millennium Campus Conference at MIT. 1,000 student leaders showed up from around the world with Paul Farmer, Jeff Sachs, John Legend, many others. Paul, Jeff, and John joined our board of advisors and helped us launch MCN. And here we are, a decade later, our 10th anniversary. This is the dream. What you all have created, the communities that you've created on your singular campuses, but the movement, the global movement that we are building together was the dream that we had in our dorm rooms as undergraduates a decade ago. I can't tell you how meaningful it is to see all of you, to see you in the chat box here, to see your faces, to know that this is work that we all share in and a commitment we share in. Last year, we went through a strategic planning process and we said, what are the gaps? What do young leaders need? And the three gaps that we identified in the market were a lack of requisite training, connections, and recognition. That if we gave young leaders training, connections, recognition, that you would have the requisite resources and support to go create the change that you know is needed to advance and achieve the sustainable development goals in your communities. And so we launched the Millennium Fellowship, and students applied on 285 campuses in 57 countries. The response is incredible. We titled this graduation webinar, A Movement Begins, and so I just wanted to, in closing, share with you this quote. This was from a speech entitled The Birth of a New Age by Martin Luther King, given in August of 1956. And MLK shared this. He said, finally, in order to do this job, we have got to have more dedicated, consecrated, intelligent, and sincere leadership. This is a tense period through which we are passing, this period of transition, and there is a need all over the nation for leaders to carry on. Leaders who can somehow sympathize with and calm us, and at the same time have a positive quality. We have got to have leaders of this sort who will stand by courageously and yet not run off with emotion. We need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice. Not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity. Leaders who can subject their particular egos to the pressing urgencies of the great cause of freedom. God, give us leaders. A time like this demands great leaders, leaders whom the fog of life cannot chill, people whom the lust of office cannot buy, leaders who have honor, leaders who will not lie. What MLK was calling for in 1956 was a generation of ethical leaders, collaborative leaders, Millennium Fellows, each and every one of you. And we need role models. That's why we look to all of the UN member states, all of the leaders who represent us. They created these sustainable development goals with all of us. And so it is now incumbent on our generation to make the sustainable development goals and United Nations academic impact principles reality. And we could think of no better partner to do this than the United Nations Academic Impact. We are so honored at MCN to partner with United Nations Academic Impact on the Millennium Fellowship. It means so much, I know, to be supported and elevated for each of you. Over 500 Millennium Fellows advancing over 200 Millennium Fellowship projects across 13 nations. And so you're going to have the opportunity, I know, to hear from Ramu, who is a role model to me and frankly to all of us in our generation. And I know you're going to be introduced by a special friend, a university that I hold in really high regard, and a wonderful university president. So with that, I just want to say thank you. I'll be back on at the end, and really honored and humbled to be with you, class of 2018. Congratulations. And I'll turn it back over to you, Camille and Faye.
That was a wonderful speech, and to everyone here, that's exactly why we're a part of this project, why we're a part of this fellowship, because each of you have presented yourself a leader, each of you have taken the initiative, and we're setting aside our time, our efforts in order to achieve some better and bigger goal. And so right now we are going to introduce to you Miss Nancy Crimmin, the president of Becker College. She is the 11th president and also the first female one. She has had over 30 years of experience in education, with policies helping students become more focused on adapting to a rapidly changing world, to the more innovative policies that are needed in order to stay on track. And one of her policies and one of her main concepts that she often pushes forward is the agile mindset. And this is something that she has been seen to do very well within her own campus, with her own students, and it is pushing forward a culture of innovation, of divergent thinking, of being the leaders of tomorrow. And she has also, because of this work and all of this effort, has launched the college's 4th and 5th schools, and has been a major proponent of this fellowship as well as several other initiatives within her own campus and general life.
Thank you, Camille and Faye, for your warm introduction, and greetings to everyone around the world from Becker College. We are in the United States. Known nationally and internationally for our academic excellence, the Becker tagline is "Be the Change." So it feels especially fitting to join with you as we celebrate students who are deeply committed to being the change the world needs. Over the past semester, 16 Becker College students were named as Millennium Fellows, making commitments to advance the UN Sustainable Development Goals. I'm joined by them here. And I'd especially like to thank Alyssa and Jessica right here, who were our Millennium Fellows campus directors. Through all of our students' projects, each of our students has certainly begun to make a difference. They've extended themselves beyond their individual projects to learn from each other and to create deeper social impact together. Just as other students have done on the other 13 nations participating in this amazing program. We're honored that the Millennial Fellows were selected at Becker, and we're deeply grateful to MCN and the United Nations Academic Impact for launching the fellowship. Becker College has been a millennial campus since 2015, and this past year we were honored in May to bestow an honorary degree on Sam Vagar, who delivered a passionate and inspirational speech to our graduation class at convocation. But this fellowship has introduced us to the United Nations Academic Impact, and what a significant partner that is. Your partnership enables our student leaders to see their work as part of a much larger movement, and that all of us can have an impact on achieving these goals in 2030. Today, I'm honored to introduce Mr. Ramudu Madhu. Mr. Madhu is Deputy Director for Partnerships and Public Engagement in the United Nations Department of Public Information's Outreach Division. He serves as chair of the United Nations Academic Impact, an invaluable partner in launching the Millennium Fellowship and this global community. Mr. Madhu, thank you and welcome.
Good morning, I'm Ramudu Madhu, and thank you so much, President Crimmin, for your warm welcome, and thank you, Sam, for that introduction which you gave to us. I think in introducing President Crimmin, reference was made to the agile mindset, which is, in a sense, the motto of Becker University. And I think that is something which has really come into play in the course of the Millennium Fellowship that all 530 fellows have undergone over this year. And I'd like to place that idea of Millennium Fellows in a slightly chronological context, because what do we really mean by millennium? We're at the threshold of a millennium now. We're barely 19 years into it. And it sometimes becomes difficult to imagine just how broad a sweep of events and change can take place over the 1,000 years that we recognize as a millennium. Think back, if you will, or look back to 1,000 years ago, the year 1018 AD. And if you look at the memorable events that took place over the world at that time, you will find that every single one of them involved conflict or war. We had war between Germany and Poland. We had war in the Byzantine Empire. We had war in Korea. We had war in Holland. We had war in Scotland. So the entire tenor of life in 1018 was one of pillage and acquisition of ambitious men, and it was largely men at that time, trying to increase both their territory and their province of expectation, without regard to the more fundamental ideas of human compassion, economic development, and social progress, which needed to be codified in the course of the next 1,000 years. And so when we look at the millennium that we are in now, where exactly will we look back 1,000 years from now? The one thing I think we will realize is that the beginning of this millennium, thanks to two great forces, was really the first time that humankind was able to define and articulate a conscience. And the two great forces I'm referring to are the movement of young minds and young people all over the world, connected together as never before, and the United Nations. A United Nations which started almost 75 years ago, really as an association of governments working together without really bringing in their peoples. That changed in this millennium. And what changed it is the Sustainable Development Goals. I've often said in the course of my work with the academic impact that the term SDGs can also be translated to two very essential elements of the work that we do here, the work that Sam and the Millennium Campus Network do, and the work that all 530 Millennium Fellows do. SDGs, students deliver goods. SDGs, scholarship does good. And if you bring that unity in of scholarship, because we are not trying to diminish the work that you're doing in your universities, your formal coursework, the responsibilities that you have as scholars and academics to the disciplines that you have chosen to learn and frankly chosen to enrich. But what we're asking is that you use that scholarship as a means to deliver the goods. And what are the goods that we're looking for? They're very simple. Sam articulated it beautifully in the quote he shared with us from Martin Luther King. But these ideas can be expressed poetically, eloquently, but also very simply and fundamentally. And I realize that at the heart of all that you are doing as Millennium Fellows is change. And change, by its very definition, connotes impatience. Because you are not satisfied with the world to which you were born, and you are not satisfied with the world into which you will move as thinking, working, responsible, self-sustained, self-sufficient adults. Because you realize that self-sufficiency is no longer a subject of the first person alone. It's not enough if you can be all that you want for yourself, or even for your immediate surroundings, your family, your community, your friends. And if I may close with a quote from my own heritage, I was last week with Millennium Fellows in my home state of Kerala in India. And I was deeply moved by what the students of TKM College there in Trivandrum have done, working to create housing for the community, combining their talents in engineering, in architecture, in urban planning, in finance, to be able to, on the one hand, have low-cost housing for communities in need, particularly the fisher folk along India's coasts. And then, in the wake of the devastating floods that happened in that part of the world in August, constructing houses that are prefabricated on ballasts and able to withstand the possible rigors and uncertainties of nature. It is a project done by students with their academic leaders, but most important, with the local community. Because the one thing the SDGs have taught us, as Sam said, is everything is connected. And just as each goal is connected to each goal, so too is each student, each Millennium Fellow connected to the political, the administrative, the popular, the civil community in which she or he lives. And that brings to mind, in conclusion, as I said, a verse from a very ancient text in my home country, India, which said very simply that every individual has to work for her family. Every family has to work for its community. Every community has to work for its state. Every state has to work for the nation. Every nation has to work for the world. and the world has to work for every individual. So you come full circle in that sense. Our responsibilities to greater and greater entities in the sense of who we are, but equally the responsibility that we expect and we cherish from the world that is our home. Millennium Fellows, you have brought those together. You have reached out to the world and, in so doing, have allowed the world to reach out to you. For that, we are deeply grateful. Thank you, MCN. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, every one of you. God bless.
Thank you so much, Ramu, for those inspiring words of wisdom, especially reminding us of the importance of our connections as we work across different sustainable development goals.
So now we're going to check with Moravian College in Pennsylvania and just see how the fellowship has been going for them.
All right, so thank you, Camille and Faye, for the kind introduction, and to all of our distinguished guests and Millennium Fellows joining from around the world, greetings from Moravian College. So after our group was notified that we were selected for the class of 2018, we decided to structure the Millennium Fellowship at Moravian as a credit-bearing course with faculty mentors, given how well the fellowship aligned with our institution's educational mission and values. One of these mentors, Dr. James Tufel, helped to advise the US government on successful implementation of SDG 16, and our other co-advisor, Dr. Diane Husick, regularly takes Moravian students to United Nations conferences, including the upcoming climate change conference hosted in Poland that 2 of our fellows will be attending this December. Given the diverse educational and personal backgrounds of the 15 members of our group here at Moravian, we decided to implement a variety of projects focused on multiple SDGs. Our cohort met once a week, every Thursday for 3 hours to introduce the content given from MCN, plan out our various initiatives, and develop professional skills through a wide range of faculty-led workshops. We hosted multiple sessions over the course of the fellowship to educate our campus community on issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and facilitated several events to raise awareness of the struggles of homelessness in our local area. So fellows at Moravian sought to address food insecurity in multiple ways as well, by creating a community garden to serve our campus community, and by spearheading the sizable expansion of a food pantry in a local elementary school that serves some of our community's most vulnerable children. Over the course of the fellowship, we secured a 750 square foot plot of land for the community garden. Our food pantry project won first place in a local social entrepreneurship contest. And in less than 12 weeks, we secured over $15,000 in funding to complete and sustain these 2 initiatives across time. Finally, we ran educational programs that reached more than 1,000 students at local high schools and middle schools, spreading awareness of the importance of the SDGs and inspiring the next generation of youth leaders. I know I'm speaking for myself and all others at Moravian when I say that it's been a genuine privilege to be a part of such an inspiring group of youth leaders that comprises the Millennium Campus Network. So thank you to all for the opportunity to share the story of the fellowship at Moravian. And with that, I'll turn it back over to our moderators.
Thank you so much for that, Michael. It is so amazing to hear about what has actually been happening on the ground with the Moravian College at Millennium Fellows. We congratulate you all and celebrate you. So thank you all for sharing that. And now we are going to hear from Ayla and Abigail. They are 2 campus directors at King's College London. And they're also going to share some of their experiences with Millennium Fellowship. Also, feel free to share in the chat a single word about what the Millennium Fellowship has meant for you. And we'll try to call out some of the answers next.
Hi guys, thank you so much for the introduction and hello from London. Here at King's, the Millennium Fellowship has brought together a cohort of students from a wide range of organizations, including the Dental Student Council, Smile Society, and Malaria No More UK. King's was unique because we were all working towards achieving SDG 3, which was good health and well-being, which allowed us to focus on mobilizing our projects through actions such as fundraising and other activities. One of the main things that our cohort took away from the Millennium Fellowship was a sense of community. Having come from different campuses and different degrees, we were able to meet new people as well as help each other with our projects in new and innovative ways.
We'd now like to introduce you to our special guest. In addition to working full-time in strategy and business development, she is also involved with a variety of charities all over the UK, including Big Change. As the founder of Big Change, Princess Beatrice believes that the best way to create lasting change is through providing the opportunities for young people to take a chance on themselves. Through working with young people in the UK, she has seen firsthand that the possibilities are endless and wants to make sure we create a lasting change in the lives of the youth of the UK. We're so honoured to have her join us today, and we'd like to give a warm welcome to Princess Beatrice.
Hello, can you hear me? Does this work?
Yeah.
Fantastic. It is my huge honour to be speaking to you today. I have just been incredibly inspired by learning through the work of the Millennium Fellowship some of the great work that's going on through the campuses throughout the world. And I just want to speak to you today to reaffirm the commitment of collaboration, and through all of your incredible work and your dedication to these great causes, we can truly make a lasting difference and really change the commitment and the advancement for the Millennium Sustainable Development Goals. I have been encouraged over the last few years to see what this true sense of collaboration can really do to change the world. Through working with my friends at Big Change, it has been some of the greatest experiences of my life. And looking a lot wider at the networks of young people that truly, when coming together and sharing ideas and sharing thoughts, only then can true change happen in the world. I'm greatly encouraged that we can make a difference and we can change the world, and together all of this is possible. I have been speaking now focused on what it is to help young women find their voice in education, in leadership, and in schools. And truly we need to support each other to build the network to make the greatest difference, and that is exactly what you're doing today. When I think about the possibilities, especially through Big Change, about reimagining education and making sure that young people truly have the tools for 21st century life, I really think about making sure that we all have that growth mindset and becoming part of a community that's much bigger than ourselves. And reaffirming that commitment to collaboration is key. And I think all of your work and every single one of you on this graduation ceremony have truly embraced that sense, embraced the Millennium Fellowship. And it is my great honor to be able to be here with you today. I think that this fellowship will grow and grow and grow. And as we've all been talking about, this is about collaboration and about the sense of going forward with the togetherness and finding your voice. And truly the future is now. And I feel inspired and encouraged and motivated by all of you. So thank you so much for your journey. Thank you for your hard work. And I can't wait to see what's next, not only for the Millennium Fellowship, but for each and every one of you as we go forth and change the world. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Princess Beatrice. Lovely hearing your words. And to everyone here, we need to make sure that we take note of everything that was said. The future is today, and we are pushing forward, and we need to keep pushing forward. And now we would like to introduce Nadeem and Sarath from TKM College of Engineering in India and hand it over to you guys. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Sharath and Nadeem. We are from TKM College of Engineering. We work on a campus reactors here, and we have all the fellows here. Are you able to hear us? Can you hear us? Is it on? At the start of this fellowship, we had a very issue in our state. We are facing one of the biggest floods in the past years. This flood was one of the biggest we have ever faced since 40 years. This was the biggest disaster which affected Kerala since the past 40 years. So, with God's own havoc beginning to subside and bits of available transport infrastructure now being spared from action, flood relief and made available to end television crews, misery of being stuck on the edge of an impassable sheet of water that then becomes a static footage of the floods. TV reporters and anchors have now started praising the role of locals in the rescue of relief effort. So, to stress, the most important work that was done was by the locals and the people who live in Kerala. Was the people who uprised and worked to rescue the people from the disaster-affected areas. The official machinery work with armed forces units and the National Disaster Response Force working in tandem and as coordinated by the local administration. Helicopters and naval coast guard boats rescued people stranded at homes and other elevations. But the biggest rescue work was done by Kerala's fishermen, who arrived with their boats, strong bodies, and generosity of spirit, and spent tireless hours moving people to safety. The information technology set up networks to register calls for help and guide rescue workers, supplementing the official call center and helplines. No great leader had to order such work to be organized. Speaking of community mobilization, inspiring people to work towards a common goal, I'd like to introduce a very special person tonight to all of us. It is none other than Mr. Rajkumar. Rajkumar is the founding president and editor-in-chief of Devex, a media platform for global development community, a social enterprise dedicated to ensuring global development efforts do more good for people. Devex was born in 2000 when Raj was a graduate student at Harvard Kennedy School. Today, there are 100 plus Devexers around the world serving a global audience of more than 1 million aid workers and development professionals. Beginning as a kid in Kerala, India, Raj has witnessed first-hand determined and courageous development work in over 50 countries. It's what drives the Devex mission to do good, do it well. He's a member of the Council of Foreign Relations and the Clinton Global Initiative and chaired the World Economic Forum's Humanitarian Council. We welcome you, sir.
Hey everyone, I'm Raj Kumar, President and Editor-in-Chief of Devex, here in the Washington, D.C. offices of Devex, and really just delighted to say congratulations to all of the Millennium Fellows on your graduation. Really an exciting day for you, exciting for me to be a part of it. Thank you for this chance to just say a few words to you. You know, I want to congratulate MCN and the UN Academic Impact for putting together the fellowship, and really for the basic idea that we need young leaders around the world to advance the SDGs. You know, the SDGs have not been around long, and when they came around in 2015, there were a lot of skeptics who thought it's going to be very hard to get the world together on a set of diverse issues, 17 goals, so many indicators. The whole thing looked like a complicated mess. But as it's happened, we found that young leaders, especially on the ground all over the world, are actually driving this agenda forward. They're making it relevant in the places where they live. So I'm just delighted to be a part of this. I want to thank, in particular, I think it's Nadeem and Sarat, who are in Kerala, who I believe may have introduced me, and it's great to hear people from Kerala. I spent some time there as a kid, and I think leaders like that doing this work on the ground are exactly what the fellowship is all about, exactly what's needed in the world today. You might be wondering, what do you do with your career going forward? How do you make a difference in this complicated time? I'm really inspired when I look around at the organizations that are cropping up, at the social enterprises, at the leaders joining big institutions too. There's just an enormous opportunity today. We at Devex, we're a media platform. We connect all the people working in global development and health and humanitarian aid. And you can come to our site, you can find a lot of information about what's happening in the industry and really get a sense for where you might fit in. Especially nowadays, it's important to be an entrepreneur. When I started Devex, part of the reason I did with some friends back in 2000 was I didn't see a job for myself in global development. But now development has just expanded so much. There's so many organizations, so many initiatives. There's certainly a way for everybody to get engaged. Obviously you already are as fellows, but I just think there's so much more. We're really looking to you in just the decade left before these goals come to an end. So I'm optimistic because of people like yourselves. Just want to say a real congratulations to all of you. Thank you, Sam, for putting this together, to Camille and Faye for organizing the event today. Just a big congratulations from all of us at Devex.
Thank you for Raj's very kind and insightful remarks. We invite all of you to check out his website it's just plug in www.devex.com. And we ask all the fellows and the audience members to go on the chat box and just share with us where you think you see yourself in the next 10 to 20 years.
And we'll highlight some of the responses that people have given us in the chat. From Alam, I don't know where this is, but I'm interested in developing myself. Oh, and talking about 2019 fellowship program, which applications will be out soon. Vaibhav said, I see myself as a renowned economist and out and proud LGBTQ supporter in India and the world. Thank you for sharing. So we encourage everyone to keep engaging in the chat and sharing where they think they will be in the next 10 to 20 years. We are actually going to hear from a video compilation from all of our Millennium Fellows called Why I Do What I Do, and it'll be from the MCN team.
Hello everyone, I do what I do in my social impact work.
I do what I do.
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 I do what I do because I want to change and impact the world in a positive way.
Acts as a tool of promoting justice. This is the morning.
Because everybody deserves a second chance.
Because I have personally been affected by the things I want to create positive change for.
Because I have a heart for service. I really care about helping others as well as making a difference in other people's lives.
Because I believe in supporting others and helping the environment.
What I do because I believe, me being a youth, I'm the person to provide sustainable solutions to the problems facing the world.
Because I believe it's our job to care for those who can't themselves, whether it's an animal or it's an underserved person.
Because I grew up privileged, and once I started college, I realized that there's so much I can do to have an impact on others, no matter how small it is.
I do what I do because inclusion, self-awareness, and standing up for what you believe in will motivate others towards change.
Because service to humanity is indeed the greatest investment anyone can give. Humanitarian services is the model of development that can change our world. Thank you.
I do what I do because I want to be a part of a world that instills fair treatment.
We're so thankful to be here with all of you. Thankful to all of you that are still tuning in. We know it's late. We're just waiting on hearing back from Stephen and hearing back who the winners are of this prestigious prize that has been part of MCN programming for so long, and is definitely one of the cornerstones of them supporting students. So we also have a video from UDLA's Social Impact Tour, one of our Millennium campuses, and Team MCN will actually be sharing that now so we can highlight some of the work that you guys have been doing over the past year fellowship this year.
La iniciativa académica de Naciones Unidas, UNAIN, y MCN, Millennium Campus Network, Red de Universidades del Milenio, invitaron a la Universidad de las Américas para que, mediante su facultad de odontología, sean parte del Millennium Fellowship. Un proyecto que busca universidades y estudiantes de la misma que estén comprometidos para trabajar en favor de la comunidad y de esta manera fortalezcan los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible de Naciones Unidas. 15 estudiantes de la UDLA fueron seleccionados, los que a su vez forman parte de 530 Millennium Fellows a nivel mundial. A estos estudiantes, las organizaciones UNAI y MCN darán una formación en línea en temas de liderazgo para los objetivos del desarrollo sostenible.
Fueron seleccionados de un grupo de 285 universidades para participar en un programa de formación de líderes de proyectos. Aquí los chicos trabajan dentro de las comunidades, demostrando todo lo que es empatía, honestidad, humanidad, todo con el fin de ayudar y contribuir en este caso con la salud bucal de los niños y mejorar sobre todo sus estilos de vida.
Los objetivos que tenemos para este programa son los siguientes. El número 3, que es de desarrollo sostenible, el número 4, que es de educación de calidad, el número 10, que es de reducción de desigualdades, y el número 17, que es de alianzas para el desarrollo de los objetivos. Por esto mi consejo para los nuevos Millennium Fellowship es que pongamos en práctica todos estos objetivos para así lograr una mejor calidad de vida para estas personas que nos necesitan y lograr tener una mejor sociedad.
Revisamos el índice de caries en los niños, vimos cómo estaba su condición oral, les educamos acerca de cómo tienen que cepillarse los dientes, cuántas veces tienen que cepillarse, cómo tienen que ir al odontólogo, todo acerca de lo que son los dientecitos y la rutina de lo que es ir al odontólogo. Súper interesante formar parte de un proyecto que es de la ONU, porque nunca he tenido la oportunidad de hacerlo. Ha sido interesante, es bastante responsabilidad, pero me gusta mucho, me parece algo chévere.
Nosotros hemos aplicado la técnica ART, es una técnica muy buena en estos casos que nosotros nos venimos a comunidades que están lejos, digamos, de la ciudad, que no tienen atención de salud, ya que es una técnica que no necesitamos ningún instrumento rotatorio ni nada, sino todo es con técnica manual. Esto nosotros obviamente podemos realizar en restauraciones pequeñas y las que nosotras no podemos realizar aquí, remitimos para que los niños asistan a un centro de salud o al centro de atención odontológica de la universidad.
Al entrar en este tipo de proyectos de vinculación con la comunidad, de atender niños, nos da, primero, además de experiencia profesional, nos llena el corazón, porque nosotros siempre vamos a tener que servir a la gente, porque si nosotros educamos a la comunidad, vamos a evitar que se formen más caries, personas que tengan el índice de caries disminuye. Por lo tanto, tendríamos menos problemas de salud en la salud oral.
Muchas veces el venir a sectores rurales nos ayuda a comprender la situación de otras personas. Entonces, el atender a niños, el atender a estas personas que todavía se están formando, el educarles, el mostrarles el buen camino de la salud, me parece que es algo muy, muy bonito, es algo muy, muy gratificante.
Thank you so much for the UDLA video. That was incredible, and we're so happy to have shared that with all of you.
Honestly, also amazing production. We were all talking about it here, that video looks really professional and very, very cool.
So congratulations to all of you at UDLA. It's very exciting, and we're really glad to have had you along in our campus cohort community. Just highlighting another message from Sam. 10 years from now, we hope 10 more classes of Millennium Fellows, a robust movement with all of you extraordinary alumni. It's excited to think that in 10 years, who knows where all of us will be. So continue to share in the chat box where you see yourself in the next 10 to 20 years, or even if you don't have a long-term plan, what types of values do you hope to be embodying at that age? So I'm going to take this time to shamelessly plug Faye, my campus director's book. It is available on Amazon, and it is called?
It's called Unveiled Through the Eyes of an Arab Woman, and it's focused towards breaking down stereotypes having to do with Arab women, having to do with the Middle East, and highlighting the amazing stories of women from around the world and giving them the chance to share what they think being a woman and being Arab means, and giving the chance for future and present generations to pave a new path, similar to what we're all trying to do with our own projects. It's just trying to create a new way of looking at the world, and hopefully just a new world. So I'd love it if you guys checked it out. And if you're interested, I can send the details.
It is $1 on Amazon, so please go support her. We are so proud of her here at Georgetown University. It's extremely exciting. And now we're excited to transition to presenting the Millennium Oceans Prize. The Millennium Oceans Prize, presented by the Remmer Family Foundation and MCN, awards youth activists focused on enriching their communities for implementation of a concrete campaign idea to spark change and garner support in advocacy, policy, and leadership for oceans and freshwater systems. It'll be presented by Stephen Fox from the Remmer Family Foundation. Stephen is a member of the MCN family. He's an MCN alumnus, but he is also a former intern. He was there during the earliest days and is a social entrepreneur and CEO of his own social enterprise, Think Impact. We can also credit MCN's ties with Justin Bieber to Stephen's determination to calling literally anyone as a brave MCN intern. So we're so excited to hear from him now, and we'll turn it over to him.
Hello,
Everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm sorry for the technical delays in getting the announcement of the Oceans Prize to all of you. Thank you to Camille and Faye for teeing this up and your leadership as Millennium Fellows. Thank you to all of you for attending and having some interest in the oceans and fisheries. This is a really important issue, SDG 14, and one that's often overlooked. Time and again for myself and the Rimmer Family Foundation. The sustainability of the oceans has been a long-term issue, and I think the UN report of just yesterday, the environmental catastrophes that have been happening to our oceans and our coastlines over and over have just highlighted the importance of this issue. And so without further ado, I am beyond thrilled to announce the winner of the 4th annual Millennium Oceans Prize as African transformers from Ashesi University. That's Lloyd Teta and Denver Chikonkonya. So congratulations, guys.
Hello. Can you hear us? Okay, so we are the co-founders of African Transformers, which is an initiative started last year with an aim of recycling waste, especially plastic waste. So like we saw that in Ghana we had a lot of plastic pollution, and that was disturbing because most of those plastics end up getting into the ocean and we'll be having chopped corals. So like as what Sam said, we need, one of the things the youth leaders need is training. So we got good training from being part of this amazing group of fellows, and we are very excited and grateful to the Rema Foundation and the MCN team, and we are really geared up to roll out our plans and continue to help you guys and help ourselves also and the rest of the world achieve the SDGs, especially the SDG 14 of saving our oceans, because we'll be saving our own lives. So we are grateful to everybody, and we really hope to have your support as usual as we continue with our plans. Congratulations to all fellows again.
Thank you so much to you both. We are offering a huge congratulations. This is such an amazing award and it is so well deserved. I also love the support that it seems you guys have at your campus. So huge congratulations. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And we are really excited to see where this goes forward. As an entire MCN community, a huge congrats. So now we're going to finally turn it back to Sam Vagar just to give us some closing remarks and to just address all of us again as a global MCN community for the class of 2018.
We also want to highlight that Sam just sent the website to it. The link is right in the chat box, so make sure to get involved. As an MCN community, we're all here for each other, and congratulations again, you guys. This is really amazing. Yay.
So Denver and Lloyd, Ashesi and Ghana, congratulations on winning the Millennium Oceans Prize. We're so looking forward to engaging with you in the year ahead. It's incredible. So Denver and Lloyd, congratulations. Ashesi, congratulations. And we really then want to just pivot and congratulate each and every one of you as we close out this webinar and as this class of 2018 concludes. What an incredible journey over these last couple of months. I know for so many of you around the world, it is finals right now. So the very fact that you're on here when you could be studying, when you could be in class, when you could be taking an exam, it's just a small reminder of who you are and why you do what you do. And I love this quote, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. That was Maya Angelou. And I think you all have been, in a time of uncertainty in our world, a great affirmation of the best of what we can all achieve to be. We are not perfect. No one is perfect, but we can strive to make a difference, to improve ourselves, and in so doing, improve the world. Each and every one of you Millennium Fellows has transformed our world. We are so excited that you're a part of this inaugural global class of Millennium Fellows. I'm sharing the chat in the chat box, millenniumfellows.org/apply. That is the interest form for the class of 2019. We've already had several hundred young leaders fill it out, and we haven't even announced it to the world yet. But we want you to share that with friends on campus. You all, if you're not going to be graduating yet, you can apply as well to join us again in 2019 and build on this together. We want you to stay involved as alumni, find ways to mentor, and we'll send out links. We'll invite you to be mentors for the class of 2019 and 2020 and beyond to help us refine this program year on year. So make sure to fill out your post-program surveys so that we can make sure it's a world-class experience that keeps improving and growing year on year. And you all have changed the world. You all are the hope that we need, and you all are embracing in that work the particular ego, as MLK talked about, an ego and an outlook and ethos of empathy, humility, and inclusion, our core values at MCN, and in partnership with United Nations Academic Impact. So humbled to be able to serve all of you so that you in turn can serve and engage community. So thank you all so much for your leadership this year. And Camille and Faye, I will turn it back over to you to close us out. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Sam and to everyone here again. We want to take the words that we've heard today and all the people that have talked to us, the videos that we've seen, and we hope that this experience in the fellowship is something that will stay with us all, not just for the period of the rest of this year and the rest of these finals for all of us, but also afterwards in life, because the values we've learned will definitely come to fruition later on. And so we want to close this with just saying thank you again to everyone. Congratulations to the winners. And we want to celebrate you guys for the completion of this fellowship. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone, and good luck on finals.
Bye.
There's more people.
Yeah.